never thought I'd say this out loud, but my daughter doesn't talk to me anymore. Not like she used to. Not with love in her voice. Not with that spark in her eyes. Now, I get silence. Cold shoulders. One-word answers. Or nothing at all. And I'll be honest, I used to think this was her problem. Teenage hormones, attitude, social media, friends. But I've come to learn something that broke me. It wasn't about her. It was about me. Tonight, I want to walk you through what I've discovered. Not just as a dad, but as a broken man learning to love again. I'll tell you why our kids pull away and how we can fight for connection even when it feels hope. Silence is a signal, not the sickness. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and it's too quiet? You feel something is off, like the calm before the storm? That's not peace, that's tension. That's the weight of something unspoken pressing against the walls. That's exactly what it feels like when your daughter stops talking to you. It's not a phase. It's not teenage mood swings. It's not kids these days. It's a signal, a blinking, screaming, silent alarm that something deeper is going on. But here's the problem. Most of us never learned how to read that kind of silence. We were raised in homes where silence meant respect or discipline, or worse, safety. Some of us grew up thinking the quiet was normal. We were told, don't speak unless spoken to. We were taught to stuff feelings, to put on a brave face, to man up or stop crying. So when our daughter stops talking, we don't see it for what it is, a cry for connection. We see it as disrespect or rebellion, or we blame it on her phone, her friends, or the music she listens to. Let me tell you a true story. A dad once came to me and said, I don't get it. I've given my daughter everything. She has a phone, a car, money for college, a roof over her head. She should be grateful. I asked him, that's great, but does she have you? He looked at me confused. What do you mean? I'm right here. No, brother, you're not. You're in the house, but you're not with her. You sit next to her at dinner, but you're scrolling your email. You ask how school was, but you don't lean in. You punish her grades without asking if she's okay. You see, silence is not the disease, it's the fever. It's the check engine light on the dashboard of your relationship. Ignoring it doesn't fix it. You've got to open the hood. You've got to get under the surface. Let me ask you, when was the last time you asked your daughter a question and just listened? Not to respond, not to correct, not to fix, but to understand. When was the last time you sat next to her without your phone in your hand, without judgment in your tone, and just said, hey, what's it like being you these days? That question might crack something open. Or it might get an eye roll, maybe even silence. But here's the key. Silence doesn't mean stop. Silence means stay. Stay consistent. Stay open. Stay humble. There was a time when she was a little girl and couldn't stop talking. Remember that? She followed you everywhere. She asked questions about everything. She trusted you with her whole world. Then something changed. Maybe you got busy. Maybe you lost your temper one too many times. Maybe you laughed when she was being serious. Maybe she saw the way you treated her mom. Maybe you said, that's not a big deal, but it was a big deal to her. And that's when she started going quiet. We all make mistakes. We all lose it sometimes. But our job isn't to be perfect. Our job is to notice, to pay attention, to stop blaming her silence on hormones or school or music, and to start asking what she's trying to say in the silence. One dad told me, I caught my daughter smoking weed, so I grounded her, took her car, and shut off her phone. I asked him, did you ask why she was doing it? He said, because she's being stupid. No, she's in pain. That's her signal. She doesn't have words for it. So she found a way to escape it. And now you've cut off the only line she had to the outside world. You've answered her pain with punishment. What she needed was presence. Silence is a signal. It's the flicker of a dying flame saying, don't give up on me. I just don't know how to trust you right now. It's not defiance, it's defense. It's not manipulation, it's self-protection. She isn't trying to hurt you, she's trying not to get hurt again. Your job isn't to get loud, it's to get low. Get quiet, get curious, ask the hard questions, sit in the discomfort. Be willing to hear, you hurt me. And don't defend yourself. Don't make it about your intentions. Just say, you're right, and I'm sorry. I want to do better. If she's silent, don't match her silence with distance. Match it with pursuit. Not force, not pressure, but gentle, steady pursuit. She's not shutting you out because she doesn't care. She's shutting down because she feels like you don't. Control kills connection. It sounds harsh, doesn't it? Especially for a parent. We say we're trying to help. We say we're trying to protect, but let's call it what it really is: control. And it doesn't feel like love to our kids. It feels like suffocation. And eventually it feels like rejection. Think about it like this. You ever held a butterfly in your hand, try to squeeze too hard, and you crush it? But if you hold your hand open, gentle, still, it stays. Connection works the same way. But most of us, especially as parents, we don't even notice how tight our grip has become. We want our daughters to follow the rules, be respectful, make good choices. And that's not bad, but somewhere along the way, we start to believe we can force them into being okay. Like if we control every move, every friend, every outfit, every word, then we've done our job. But control is a counterfeit version of love. And our kids can tell the difference. I talked to a teenage girl once, 16 years old, smart, funny, brilliant writer. But she told me, I feel like I can't breathe in my own house. My dad controls everything: what I wear, who I talk to, what apps I use, even how I decorate my room. I asked her, have you ever told him that? She looked down and said, what's the point? He just called me dramatic. Now hear me, her dad loves her, no doubt. He's doing what he thinks is right. But his fear of the world, of mistakes, of pain, has turned into control. And his daughter, she's learning how to wear a mask, how to fake it, how to smile and nod while slowly pulling away. Control looks like love to the person doing it, but to the one receiving it, it feels like being caged. You see, when we try to control our daughters, we think we're creating safety, but what we're really doing is telling them, I don't trust you. And if you say that enough times, not with words, but with actions, they stop trusting themselves too. You don't build confidence by telling someone what to do. You build confidence by walking beside them as they figure it out. We've got to stop confusing obedience with connection. Your daughter might do what you say. She might follow the rules, get the grades, come home on time. But if she's doing it out of fear, not respect, if she's performing so she won't get punished, then you're not connected. You're in control. And control is fragile because the minute she's out of your house, your reach, your rules, the mask comes off. You know why some girls fall into chaos the moment they go to college? It's not rebellion, it's relief. They're finally free from the pressure of being perfect, but they never learned how to make choices with confidence because every decision was made for them. And when that happens, control doesn't just kill connection, it kills honesty too. Let me flip the script. Imagine you're at work. Your boss doesn't trust you, checks every email, stands over your shoulder, criticizes your tone, your decisions, your outfit, never asks how you feel, never says, I'm proud of you. Would you feel safe? Would you feel connected? Now imagine a different boss, one who says, I trust your judgment. I know you'll mess up. We all do. But I'm here. I've got your back. Like, that's the boss you'd run through a wall for. Why? Because trust creates connection, and connection creates courage. Our kids don't need perfection from us. They need presence. They need to feel safe being themselves, even when it's messy, even when it scares us. You don't have to approve of every choice, but you do have to make room for the choice. You can say, that decision worries me. Can we talk about it? Instead of, you're not doing that. End of discussion. You can say, I trust you, and I'm here if you need me. Instead of, you better not screw this up, because when your daughter knows you trust her, she rises to it. Not always perfectly, but and here's the wild part. When you stop trying to control everything, you don't lose her. You get her back. Because she doesn't need a warden. She needs a witness, a partner, a dad who can sit with her in the chaos and say, I'm not here to manage you. I'm here to love you through this. That's where connection begins. You go first. Emotional safety starts with you. That's the hard part about being a parent. We want our kids to open up, to be honest, to trust us. But we forget trust isn't given on demand. it's earned. And the weight of earning that trust, building that safety, it doesn't start with them. It starts with us. We're the adults. We're the ones who have to go first. We say, why won't my daughter talk to me? But let me flip the question. When was the last time you talked to her? I don't mean the usual stuff. Did you do your homework? Who are you texting? Take the trash out. I mean, really talk to her. Opened up. Shared a fear. Told her how proud you are of her, not because of what she did, but because of who she is. You know what that moment taught her? That her pain is inconvenient, that her truth is unwelcome, that vulnerability equals weakness. You go first. That means showing her it's okay to be human, to not have it all together, to not be the tough guy all the time. You don't need to be perfect. In fact, perfection is the enemy of connection. Your daughter doesn't need a superhero. She needs a safe place. And safety doesn't come from power, it comes from presence. Let me ask you, have you ever sat your daughter down and said, hey, I've made mistakes. I've said things I shouldn't have. I've missed things I should have seen. I'm sorry. I want to be better for you. Because you might be shocked at what happens when you say those words. One dad told me, I don't want to look weak in front of my daughter. And I told him, you're not weak when you apologize. You're strong enough to break the cycle. You're strong enough to lead the way. You're strong enough to show her that love doesn't require perfection. It requires truth. Emotional safety doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from modeling what it looks like to walk through it with courage and humility. Your daughter is watching everything, not just how you treat her, but how you treat your partner, how you handle anger, how you talk about your own parents, how you deal with disappointment. She's learning how to be a woman, how to be in a relationship, how to be safe by watching how you move through the world. You want her to share her heart? Show her yours. You want her to come to you with her deepest fears? Let her see yours. Say things like, I was really scared at work today. I'm feeling overwhelmed, but I'm trying to figure it out. I don't have the answer, but I'm not going anywhere. That's leadership. That's love. I've seen dads who grew up in homes where emotions were a liability, where silence was survival, where nobody said, I love you, unless it was followed by conditions. And now they're raising daughters who are begging for depth, for warmth, for presence, but their dads don't know how. That's why you have to go first. You have to break the generational blueprint. You have to be brave enough to name what was never named in your childhood. You have to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't always know what I'm doing, but I love you and I'm learning. I met a dad who told his daughter, I don't know how to talk about feelings, but I want to learn. Will you help me? She cried, not because she was sad, because she finally felt safe. You see, safety doesn't mean never failing. Safety means even when I fail, I'm still here. I'm still trying. I still see you. We want our daughters to be emotionally strong, but that doesn't happen by shielding them from pain. It happens by showing them how to walk through pain with someone who's not afraid of it. So many kids today are anxious, lonely, depressed, not because they're broken, but because they don't feel safe enough to be real. They're tired of faking it. They're tired of hiding. You want her to stop hiding? Step into the light first. Say the hard thing. Ask the real question. Let go of the script and be present. You go first. Every single time. Small hurts matter. Own them all. We like to think that only the big moments shape our kids. The huge blow-ups, the unforgettable vacations, the dramatic apologies. But that's not how it works. Our kids are made of 1,000 tiny moments, 1,000 small glances, offhanded comments, shrugs, rolled eyes, missed hugs, doors closed too loudly, voices raised just a little too high. These aren't just background noise. These are the bricks they build their hearts with. And every one of those moments matters. You know what breaks connection? It's not just the screaming match. It's when she gets in the car, excited about a dumb story from school, and you say, not now, I'm busy. It's when you say, that's not a big deal, and she believes you and starts thinking maybe she's not a big deal either. It's when you tease her in front of people and she laughs, but her smile doesn't reach her eyes. It's when you forget to say goodnight, when you interrupt her, when you roll your eyes because she's crying again over something silly. You didn't mean to hurt her, but you did. And that pain doesn't just vanish, it stacks. Every time you dismiss the little stuff, it sends a message. Every time you ignore a small hurt, you chip away at trust. she doesn't stop loving you, she stops talking to you. You want her to come to you with the big stuff? You have to be a safe place for the small stuff. Because if she can't trust you with, I'm frustrated, she won't come to you with, I'm heartbroken. If she can't trust you with, I hate school, she won't tell you when she's being bullied. If she can't come to you with, I feel invisible, she will run to someone else when she feels completely alone. I met a girl once, maybe 14, and I asked her why she never talked to her dad anymore. She said, he makes me feel stupid when I'm sad. I asked her what she meant. She said, like one time I cried because a friend left me out of a group chat. And he said, this is the kind of stuff you're crying over? That's it. That's all it took. And look, to an adult, a group chat might seem like nothing, but to her, it was everything. And she brought her pain to the person she trusted most. And he brushed it aside, not because he didn't care, but because he didn't understand that small hurts matter. They're the entry. Healing takes consistency, not grand gestures. We live in a culture that worships the big moment, the apology that goes viral, the tearful reunion, the father who shows up at graduation holding a bouquet and saying all the right things. That stuff plays well on screen. It looks powerful, but that's not how real healing works. Your daughter doesn't need a movie scene. She needs a Tuesday morning. She needs 6:30 AIEM when everyone's tired and the coffee hasn't kicked in and you still choose patience instead of sarcasm. She needs the drive to school when you ask how she's doing, not because it's convenient, but because you actually want to know. She needs the moment when she fails and looks at you, bracing for judgment, and instead hears you say, I'm still here. The big gestures might feel impressive to you, but they don't build trust for her. Trust is built through tiny acts of care, repeated over and over again, even when it feels like nothing's changing. I had a dad once tell me, I apologized. I told her I was sorry for everything. Why won't she forgive me? I asked, when was the last time you followed through on what you said? He paused. See, a lot of us think healing works like a switch. Say the magic words, shed a few tears, and everything resets. But healing isn't a switch. It's a seed. And seeds need watering every day. Even when you can't see anything breaking through the surface, you show up anyway. That's how healing grows. Your daughter doesn't need you to fix everything in one conversation. She needs you to prove through your consistency that you're becoming someone who is safe to trust again. Let's be real. If you've hurt her, if you've yelled, dismissed, mocked, ignored, then the apology is just the door. What happens after is what builds the bridge. That's the slow work. That's the real work. You say, I love you. That's beautiful. Now show it by listening when she talks about things that don't interest you. You say, I'll change. Good. Now show it by controlling your temper when she messes up. You say, you can trust me. Okay. Now show it by not using her vulnerability as a weapon the next time you're frustrated. The hard truth, it doesn't matter how grand your apology is if she still has to flinch every time your voice raises. That's not safety. That's performance. You want to heal your relationship? Stop trying to prove something. Start trying to be something. Present, dependable, patient. Let me give you an example. There's a dad I worked with. He was estranged from his daughter after years of emotional distance and criticism. He reached out one day and asked, how do I get her to talk to me again? I said, you don't. You listen. He started texting her once a week. Not paragraphs, not explanations, just simple, consistent check-ins. Thinking about you, no pressure to respond, just wanting you to know I care. Hope your week's going okay. Here if you ever want to talk. No guilt, no agenda, just presence. And for 6 months, nothing, no reply. Then one day, she sent back 2 words, thank you. 6 months later, they were having coffee together. No fireworks, no music playing in the background, just 2 people rebuilding, one consistent step at a time. Healing doesn't happen because of a viral moment. It happens because you decide day after day to be a different kind of person than you were before. A consistent one, a safe one. Your daughter is watching, not your words, but your patterns. She wants to see if your change is real or if it's just another wave that crashes and disappears. She wants to know if you'll keep showing up even when she's distant, even when she doesn't perform, even when it hurts. That's the stuff that heals. You don't have to be flashy. You don't have to write speeches or plan surprise parties or buy her something big to earn her forgiveness. You just have to keep showing up. Make her tea when she's studying. Knock before entering her room. Ask questions without expecting answers. Tell her you love her and mean it, even if she doesn't say it back. Because consistency tells her this: you matter, you're safe, I'm not going anywhere. It's brushing her off once that breaks something. It's brushing her on every day for weeks and months and years that rebuilds. It's not about being perfect, it's about being steady. She needs to know that you're not just sorry, you're trustworthy. That your change isn't just a moment of guilt, but a lifetime of growth. She doesn't need a rescue, she needs a rhythm. Something she can rely on when her world gets shaky. And here's the wild thing: healing through consistency won't just change your relationship with her, it'll change you. Because every time you choose patience over pride, softness over sarcasm, presence over performance, you become the parent you always hoped you'd be. You've been wondering why your daughter won't talk to you. You've been carrying that silence like a weight on your chest. You walk past her room and the door is shut. Again. You try to ask how she's doing and she gives you one-word answers. You tell yourself, teenagers, right? But deep down, you know it's not just that. Something's broken and you don't know how to fix it. But here's the truth, and I need you to hear this with every ounce of your heart. It is not too late. I don't care how bad it's gotten. I don't care how long it's been. Love doesn't keep score. Love doesn't quit. Love rolls up its sleeves and gets back in the game. She may not say it, but she still needs you. She needs your presence more than your perfection. She needs your quiet strength more than your loud opinions. She's not waiting for you to be a superhero. She's waiting for you to be real. You want to reconnect with her? Then be brave enough to look in the mirror and say, the change starts with me. Don't let your pride be louder than your love. Don't let shame tell you it's too late to show up. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Create one. As Les Brown says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Start with small things. Ask how her day went, even if she shrugs. Say I'm sorry, even if your ego protests. Show up consistently, even if she doesn't acknowledge it. Because she notices. Believe me, she notices. You may not be able to undo the damage overnight, but you can plant seeds. And seeds don't shout. They grow in silence. They grow through consistency, humility, and time. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou's words still ring like a bell. So how does your daughter feel when she's around you? Safe, seen, loved, or judged? Dismissed? Controlled? You don't need to do everything right. You just need to do the next right thing. And then the one after that. It's not one big speech. It's showing up when it's inconvenient. It's choosing empathy over authority. It's choosing connection over control. You don't win your daughter back by lecturing louder. You win her back by listening harder. And I get it. You weren't taught how to do this. You didn't grow up in a home where people sat down and talked about emotions. You might have learned to survive through silence, sarcasm, or strength. But hear me, you can be the one who changes the story. You can be the first in your family line to say, I won't lead with fear, I'll lead with love. You can be the father who says, I'll break the pattern, I'll build something new. Your legacy is not written in stone. It's written in every bedtime conversation you choose to have. It's carved into the silence you refuse to let grow. It's sealed with every tear you're willing to hold without trying to fix. You want to know the greatest gift you can give your daughter? Not a car, not a college fund, not advice.